up your I can statements based on your content standard on the left. You are going to now transfer this information onto your Schoology course. And the reason you did this first is so that it's super easy transferring the information from one place to another, right? So you're going to open a Schoology course tab. Now, depending on the time of year that you're setting up your gradebook, you may or may not have access to your courses. Before, let's say that you don't have access, right? But you want to practice setting up your gradebook. And if you set it up in your sandbox, you can actually transfer it to another course later, even if it's not during, August through June, right? If you're doing this through the summer, you'll be able to transfer it to any class. So let's start here in the sandbox course. You have access to sandbox the entire year. It's a fake course where you're allowed to just play with the settings of Schoology without any serious consequences. And we're going to set up our grades, right? How do we want the computer to calculate our grades? So we are going to find the grade setup here on the left. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And now your job now is to get all of your I can statements on the left and transfer them into these categories. Now the idea is that you've selected 5, 6, 7 standards that you're going to test your students on throughout the semester, right? And so you're going to create categories for those standards, and then you'll label every assignment or every assessment based on the category where it falls. And I'll explain that in the second part. But for now, you're going to take your I can statements and you're going to make them into categories. So you'll see that, for example, my first standard is here. My second part, my I can statement says I can cite strong and thorough textual evidence, right? And so you'll click on this add button right here and you'll type the category name, I can, and then you'll type the rest of your I can statements. And you'll do that for every single I can statement that you've created on this page. Okay. You're going to make sure that it says total points and drop 0. And you're going to click create right here. Now I already have one made here for that category. And in theory, at this point, you should have 6 or 7. I have a bunch because it's my sandbox course. So over the years, I have gathered quite a few. All right. Your second step is to create a scale. So because we grade on a 4-point scale, we have to tell Schoology that we're going to grade on a 4-point scale. So you're going to click where it says add, and you're going to click on add scale. And then you'll get this box here. You're going to leave it on percentage, and you are going to title this one Mastery Scale Final Letter Grade. Okay. And in a second, I'll show you what you need to input here. So you're going to add a few levels, one for A, one for B, one for C, one for D, one for F. And this is what your final letter grade scale should look like. If you notice, the percentages based off of what we learned to be an A, B, C, D, E, or F are very different, right? And that's because EGI wants more equity in the letter grade. And so the percentages are more equitable. They're a lot more fair than a 50% F, right? We have to tell the computer, don't give this person an F for a 40%, give this person a C. So the biggest, complaint you'll have from students, or the most common comment that you'll have is, Miss, why do I have a 40% and a C. Like, which one do I pay attention to? And you tell them that the percentage doesn't matter anymore, right? This is just so that Schoology knows how to calculate the grade, okay? So once you have these inputted here, you're going to click on Save Changes, and you're going to do one more because this is how it calculates the final letter grade, but you need one for every day 4, 3, 2, 1 type scale, right? So you're going to go ahead and click on Add one more time. You're going to click on Scale. And then I'm going to show you, that's not it, percentage. I'm going to show you what the mastery grading scale is, okay? Click on Edit. You're going to click on not percentage, you're going to click on the points. And then you'll type this in, 43210, and the description here, right? So one more time, you'll click on Add, Scale, Points. This is a 4, exceeds. This is a 3, this is a 2, that's a 1. And you'll title it Mastery Grading. Cool. Easy. We got one final step here on the grade setup page. You're going to scroll, actually, add a star right here. Click on the star so that the computer knows that it's going to calculate based on those percentages. And that's your default choice. And then you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom down here. Make sure that your PD grading period weight 100%. Your gradebook scale is going to be Mastery Scale Final Letter Grade. And then we have these two over here. You're going to go ahead and click on these 3 links because what these do, they're visibility settings for your students as well, and for you. So you'll hide the grading periods calculated because I'll explain how this works in a little bit, or yes, in a little bit. Okay. And you're going to hide this one as well. You want the grade period override column, and I'll show you why in just a second. So you're going to add these 3. You're going to scroll down. You're going to allow members to view the student grade report, and you're going to hide the grading period, grades, and student grade report. This is so that when students view their grade, you don't want them to see the percentage and then ask you, like, if the computer calculated a B, why are you giving me a C? Right? This is so that you have your professional judgment based on what the student deserves in your course. You're going to go ahead and click Save Changes, and then we're going to check that our gradebook is set up correctly. So we are going to click on Gradebook, and what you should see is something similar to this. You should have an overall column right here. This is the computer calculated score, but you should also have the override column that we were just talking about, because if you decide that student 1 does not deserve an A based on the evidence of their assignments, of their assessments, right? You can override that score so that they get a B instead, right? Or if you say student C did a really good job and the computer for some reason is giving them a C, you can change that to a B, right? So that's what this column is for. You're also going to check to see that you have in your materials, you should have the list of all of the categories that you wrote. Right? So for example, here's mine. That's what I should see, right? So you're just going to check that everything is good. And if it is not good, you cry. No, but you go back in the video and you see which boxes you might have missed when you set up your grade, okay? Cool, congratulations. You have your grade set up correctly. Now we're going to move on to the gradebook.